We are back in Moab, Utah. All of the challengers have brought the vehicles that they have built to see if they can win a spot on this year's Ultimate Adventure. Last time our teams were here, they tried taking their stock vehicles up Moab Rim.
I was able to navigate through everything up to Devil's Crack pretty well, I think. We scraped in all the places you'd expect it to.
For the onX Offroad Build Challenge, we chose a 1987 Dodge Ram Charger.
There was a lot of tire smoke, a lot of wheel spin. Yes! Yes!
Since that time, our teams have taken their budget of $15,000 and have tried to take their stock vehicles and turn them into trail monsters, capable of handling anything that we throw at them.
We took a bone stock S10 and turned it into this amazing rock crawler.
Last time we made it about a quarter of the way up Moab Rim before I had to get out and start hopping on the bumper. This time, I don't think I'll have to do that all.
So this thing started life and it didn't work. The four-wheel drive actually didn't work at all. We had no four-wheel drive, nothing worked in the front end.
A few months ago, this was just a stock Lexus LX 450 with 305,000 miles on it. I'm worried about all kinds of things not working and breaking. I mean, this has 305,000 miles. There's a ton of OEM Toyota stuff that I'm gonna be pushing through like 110-degree heat.
I got called in halfway through the deal and it was like, oh my gosh, my partner's gone, I need some help.
I started this competition with one partner, my buddy Ed. He had a giant opportunity career-wise that he had to take. I called up Dave and Dave was willing to come and help, and so now I've got a new teammate.
So in the beginning, we started with a stock 1987 Ram Charger, and we've turned it into a rock crawling machine. It moves, we'll say that. So originally when we started this competition, I started with Holly Fowler, and unfortunately halfway through building this rig, she got into an accident and was no longer able to help or compete. So my new partner is actually my girlfriend, Janelle.
So Rudy asked me to be his partner after Holly had her accident. I was already in the shop with Rudy, I was already there, already kind of knew what was going on. So I'm just here as a helping hand and finishing out this project with them.
This is a team effort and wouldn't have been able to get it done by myself.
It was not planned to paint the truck to match my shirt. However, I am a fan of orange.
I do like the orange truck, but the orange shirt is a little bit much.
I mean, I'm up against a pumpkin and a blueberry, but that's okay, those are cool too. I mean, they're up against this tuna fish.
With all the vehicles finished, the onX Build Challenge road trip can start. But this isn't simply a challenge to see who can drive up a trail. Over the next few days, our teams will have to prove that they have what it takes to make it on the Ultimate Adventure. The Ultimate Adventure is a one-of-a-kind road trip that is the most exclusive trail ride in the country. This is the bucket list adventure for any off-roader.
Ultimate Adventure is the ultimate test between man and machine. You have to four-wheel one day, drive a very long distance the next day. To win this thing would be everything. I've always wanted to go on UA, and to have the opportunity to be part of it would be a dream come true for somebody like me.
It all starts with a peer review of each team's budget to see who spent their $15,000 best. A team is penalized and will lose votes for going over budgets, but they will be rewarded votes for staying under budget.
The other teams, the builds turned out amazing. I'm really curious to see who came close to their budgets and whatnot. I know what my budget is.
This morning when I added it all up, we were $2 over, and then I added it up again, and now we're like $7 under.
Yeah, I think anybody watching the videos can tell who is out of budget between the group of three of us.
I look at mine being like a massage stock truck, and I look at theirs as being like a completely reinvented truck, and I don't know how they did it. I look forward to combing through and seeing where they took advantage of their budget and didn't.
And after looking at the build list for each vehicle and deducting items that are required to attend Ultimate Adventure, here is how the teams spent their money. Team Dumpster Fire and the total cost to build their Lexus/Land Cruiser was $13,618. Team Bleep and Jeep, total cost to build the Flex 10 pickup was $8,800. And Team Ride Charger total cost to build this monster of a Dodge Ram Charger was $19,534. Last time at Moab Rim, you guys only made it up. Basically, the Devil's Crack kind of made it to the Devil's Crack. No one made it over it. Hopefully this time, we make it a little bit further, maybe even all the way up past Z-turn. We're gonna run in the exact same order as last time. So we're gonna kick things off with the Ram Charger, followed by the Flex 10, and then we'll finish it off with the Orange Julius. Download the onX Offroad app so you can see the route that each competitor took.
I think this thing's gonna work really well. I think we're just gonna be chasing gremlins because it's such a fresh build. It's probably gonna run it hot, and then we'll probably end up throwing a peel pop on it. That's my guess.
Where I can't see where we're going, I can't see up that edge because it's a cliff. Not a fan.
I'll put it in low. That was a little rougher than I wanted.
Yeah, got it.
So when we were coming up Devil's Crack, I got a little frisky with it, and you know, turns out when you forget to weld stuff together, they come apart. So I noticed one of my anti-wrap bar brackets on the rear axle housing was I just sheared the welds off, no surprise. So we pulled the welder out, put it back together for now, and we'll fix it up later. Hopefully our repair holds up. I think it will, but we're just gonna drive straight up it. Yeah, so I wired up my lockers, but I didn't pay attention to which one goes to what, so I don't know which switch turns on what. Okay, I learned my front locker is not on. So we did all that without a front locker. I'm happy.
With Rudy past the Z-turn, now it's time for the S10 to try to make it up the trail.
So this thing started life with an independent front suspension with A-arms, and it didn't work. The four-wheel drive actually didn't work at all. We had no four-wheel drive, nothing worked in the front end. I think the truck, it looks leaps and bounds better than it did on day one.
I am super proud that Colt was able to keep the patina and that we didn't paint this thing.
We kept the patina, we kept the look. That was the original goal from the get-go.
My favorite feature on the S10 is the bobbed bed. Colt shortened that thing up really short to get a great departure angle.
You want good approach and departure angles, so I stretched the front axle forward to have a good approach angle and bobbed the bed to have a good departure angle. What probably took me the longest on this truck was creating the front suspension and the steering, because nobody makes a solid axle swap kit like this for this truck. The reason I went with leaf springs all the way around and not doing coilovers and links, this isn't about what the best thing is we could build, it's the best thing that we could build in a budget. So I found my leaf springs used for the front. We used BDS Add-A-Leafs for the rear because they're part of the Elite partnership and I was able to get a discount. I used Barnes four-wheel drive suspension mounts to hold everything together. So I went with a junkyard Dana 60. I called it my fire sale Dana 60. The rear axle is a 14 bolt that I got off of Facebook Marketplace that already had an ARB air locker, Yukon 513 gears, and disc brakes. So I run Yukon gear and axles in a lot of my rock crawlers, and that is why I chose to run them in this. It's something simple. I know that I can set them up. They set up well, they work well, and their aftermarket and response time is great. So we kept the stock 4.3 engine. It's already fuel injected. It's running pretty decent. The transfer cases, I took Jeep transfer cases actually and doubled them together. So we have dual NP231 T cases. So one of the things I'm proud of is keeping the look of the bumpers. I knew that I wanted to keep the look of this truck, so I did my due diligence and hunted down a worn X Series 8000. So even though it's an older winch, because it's worn, I could get all the parts for it, and because they're an elite partner, I was able to use my onX discount. The number one reason that I said this was a selling point to me for this rig is that it has a flat belly. There's nothing hanging down below the frame. We went ahead and made a skid plate that bolts directly flat to the frame, and we have 26 inches of belly clearance on this truck.
If you want the same discounts as Colt, check out the onX Elite membership benefits.
It was a lot more work last time to get this far.
Yeah, it was.
We were two-wheel drive hot rodding it. So this is the spot where we got stuck and we had to do our driver mod and put Matt in, and I had to get out and actually push on the truck. I also think it's a spot where we actually put a dent in our frame that we pulled out. Matt, help me out. So in memory of last time, we decided to have Matt jump on the bumper just for grins. We're making it. So we've just surpassed where we made it last time without even spinning a tire. So I feel like we've made solid upgrades to this rig. I say we straddle the crack for grins. Oh man, night and day, night and day. You know, our goal was to do an everyman's build on a budget and do it on leaf springs. Leaf springs are a tried and true, proven suspension from the 40s, and it can still be utilized today.
You can see how challenging Moab Rim is by using the 3D terrain feature on the onX Offroad app. onX not only gives you the location of the trail, but this 3D feature allows you to run the trail virtually before you leave the trailhead, allowing you to plan your route and survey obstacles.
Just got tires on this thing for the first time, and it feels so much better than last time. We're not rubbing anywhere. You know, last time we only got the devil's crack, so we just at least need to get farther than that. With lockers and 39s and the right line, I think that we got this. Pulled sway bars, pulled that lower control arm bolt to make the front be able to twist a little easier. and then we just put the little pucks in there and then beefed up the rear lowers. But stock geometry, basically. I mean, we're definitely, even with the spacers, we might be stock height because of weight. Obviously this time's a little better. 39s help, you know, all the other things. Better approach angle. We have sliders instead of steps. The Yukon 529 gear sets were absolute game changer, of course. I mean, it made it to where we can drive on 39s and it feels very much like a stock truck. It's absolutely paramount that you have the right ratios and everything for the vehicle in order to perform the way you want it to. And the steering is amazingly light. Like, it's kind of scary. Like, you could get yourself into trouble. We'll lock the rear, see how that feels.
Amazing traction in here.
Yeah, I actually wanted to give a little bump there at the end. I haven't like got it loaded up to like really put pressure on anything. So like need to do that a couple times so when we get back I can re-torque everything. Just try to like stretch all these new parts out, re-torque them so we're ready for the next leg of this trip.
After everyone made it up to the top of Moab Rim, we gave each team coordinates to look up in the onX Offroad app. This is the location for their first challenge. Welcome, competitors, to the first challenge of the onX Offroad Build Challenge road trip. This is the Yukon Gear and Axle Challenge. You have to answer one question very simply. Two-wheel drive or three-wheel drive? Answer.
Two.
Two-wheel drive or three-wheel drive?
Two.
Nate?
Two.
Two-wheel drive. In order to complete this challenge, you will have to remove both front and rear drive shafts completely from the vehicle. Gus from Yukon Gear and Axle will be evaluating your professionalism and your safety as you perform this task, and you will also be judged on speed. Remember, first place earns an additional 1,000 votes. Second place, an additional 300 votes, and third place will receive 100 votes. Competitors ready? And go!
On UA, it's pretty common that you end up damaging a drive shaft at some point, so they wanted to sort of duplicate that in a controlled environment and a spot to where the camera guys could get sweet bangers of us under the truck. So we basically had to get under the truck, pull the drive shaft out, show a representative from Yukon Gear the drive shaft, and he'd be like, yep, thing looks sweet, and then we had to bolt it back in. We had to do that on the front and the rear of the rig. Toyota drive shaft bolts are like a must-have if you're a Toyota guy.
Definitely. I did make sure that this has a fully functional parking brake, so we flipped it into neutral to make it easier to get those shafts out, pulled the parking brake so nothing's moving anywhere, threw the wheel chocks in, and just went to town.
I had not done the drive shafts before. Those were in before I got to Colts to help them out with that. So I didn't know what size wrenches to use. I didn't know where the wrenches were.
So drive shaft out, show it to him.
Nate and Dave from Dirthead Shed, I think, topped the list with their professionalism. They worked really well together as a team. They chose to do the drive shaft in the rear at first and then the front second. Worked out real great.
The front drive shaft was great. I did that one by myself. I think we were in like 9 minutes running time for that one. It was great.
Janelle rocked. She had that front shaft out really quick. Colt and Matt with Team Bleep and Jeep were very organized. Each chose one end or the other to work on, so they kind of did it individually. And then once Colt got the front done, he helped Matt with the rear.
Previously in the day, I had an issue with my anti-wrap bar, and it kind of screwed up some of my geometry in the rear, and it made it super difficult to get my rear drive shaft out.
Apparently some previous trail damage that caused the rear shaft to be bound up and be basically bottomed out. So possibly a drive shaft with too short of slip yoke travel to begin with.
But to get it back in, I ended up having to cut the threads off of my pinion shaft, and then it was able to slide in.
End time!
It was really good the way Team Bleep and Jeep had everything set up. They were working as a team. They worked individually on their own projects and got it all done. But then again, I also loved the way that Nate and them did one at a time, and they had enough forethought in there to have all the factory hardware and stuff, so it all used minimal tools and stuff. They did a real good job. I think just how smoothly and everything went, I think that I give it to Nate. And second place, Bleep and Jeep.
Perfect. All right, we have our winners. After today's excitement, each team has either earned or lost votes. Currently, the leaderboard looks like this. Team Bleep and Jeep has earned 4,000 votes. Team Dumpster Fire / Creamsicle have earned 1,690 votes. And Team Ride Charger has lost 2,167 votes. Remember to vote for your favorite team to earn a spot representing onX Offroad on this year's Ultimate Adventure by going to onX Maps Build Challenge.